Skrzynski and Nataliia Skrypka, please. If you could both come up onto the stage, and then I think you're both going to take a turn at giving a presentation. We're going to go back and reflect on Euro 2012 and the wonderful tournament it was. And I think Bartlomiej's going first. You have a seat, Nataliia. It's good to see you. Can you pass me the yeah, great, thank you. No, that. No, just the yeah, that's it. Thank you. I can't think what it's called. Are you all right to use this as well? Yes, of course I will, if you just tell me. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Now it's time for bonsoir. Dobry wieczór. I'm Bartlomiej Skrzynski. I'm a Disability Ombudsman of Wrocław. You know, I can talk about Wrocław, about my city, many hours, but I know I have only 10 minutes.
You do, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to hold you to
it. Was introduction. Okay. Now start. In the first slide, you can see a few examples of change in Wrocław, railway station, music theater, airport Wrocław. And the next slide, please. Here you can see some pictures of the new convenience for people with disability. New terminal in Wrocław. In 2012, the construction of a new terminal in Wrocław was complete. It is one of the best prepared for a visit of passenger with various disabilities, senior parents with children. Near the airport information service point, there is service point for disabled passengers. The entire terminal has 19 elevators. There are also 19 parking spaces for people with disabilities, marked and painted in blue. Wrocław Airport has 4 sleeve and an ambulift, also recognizing the needs of different passengers, lowered counter at the check-ins and lost luggage. These are just examples of communication and logistic facilities which have been applied at Wrocław Airport. We have new trams and buses with ramps and spaces reserved for people with disabilities. Now it is more than 80, until the end of this year will be 100% of low floor buses and 30 of the trams. The main train stadium in Wrocław is another perfect example of building modernization. The modernization of the facility includes both the hall and platforms. In any case, the needs of disabled people were taken into consideration. And Wrocław Stadium. In the process of designing and construction of the Wrocław Stadium, people with disabilities from various NGOs, some of them are with us today. Thank you, KKN, for your help. Were involved from the beginning. Verification of availability was also carried out with disabled supports and subsequent stage, including the executive one. Thanks to this, the place is fully adapted to the needs of the people with disability. In all events at the stadium, there are 104 seats guaranteed to us and the same number for assistance. We have audio description and model building suited to all users, including those with disabilities. The Wrocław Stadium has been the arena of Euro 2012. It is an example of the additional consultation with the person with disabilities at the stage of designing and construction. The property perfectly meets the expectation of people with disabilities. Miniatures of city monuments. Due to taking care of people with various disabilities, we consult with NGOs every time regarding the details in the process of construction in the city. That's why we have built miniatures of some typical Wrocław, Venice, 1 times smaller than the original building with braille display. The newest one is of Wrocław Stadium from last year. There you can also find miniatures of a Polish stadium constructed for the Euro 2000 championship. And the conclusion. Last slide. With each larger ever hosted by Wrocław, the city is getting more and more accessible for each citizen. From each event, we have already taken some advantages, like, for example, audio description, which after Euro 2012 has become a permanent fixture in city life. Thanks to such large events organized by the city, many improvements which make culture and sport Venice more accessible would not yet have been made, and some of them never, like Wrocław City Stadium. Thank you for your attention. I would like to invite you to the beautiful and accessible city of Wrocław to be part of the European Capital of Culture in 2060 and the World Games in 2017.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. I think what is very clear is we often hear that when large sporting events take place in new countries, new cities, that there is not a good reason for it. But for me and for us, if one of the benefits can be that we improve access and we make sure that we leave behind a legacy of further inclusion for disabled people, then we have done something very worthwhile and very right. And never was that clearer than in Poland, and as you're about to hear, in Ukraine. And you saw yet again from the presentation, it isn't just in the stadiums, it's the impact it has in all of the other infrastructures like the airports and the transport and so on. So thank you very much, and a very beautiful city. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Stay with us, merci beaucoup. Stay with us. And
Okay.
Nataliia, we worked very closely together during the whole process before and after, and I have the utmost respect for the work you do at the National Association of Assembly of Disabled People of Ukraine as the director. You're going to share with us now some of the stuff we did around Euro 2012, so over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's very pleasure to take part in the second international conference. It seems to me, difficult. For one woman, a lot of things. It seems to me we only met at the similar conference in London in 2011. We only discussed our plans for Euro 2012 tournament in Poland and Ukraine, and here today in Paris we have the opportunity to present our experience. National Assembly of People with Disabilities is a non-governmental association, includes 180 national and regional NGOs. Our network covers all regions of Ukraine, and the main objective of our activity is to protect the rights of people with disabilities. Our assembly implemented a project, Respect Inclusion Football Without Limits, during 2011-2012 in Ukraine, and the main tasks of our activity were to improve awareness of the issues regarding people with disabilities, to ensure accessibility for people with disabilities that are independent and fully participate in everyday life of their communities, to establish the accessibility of all Euro 2012 host cities, infrastructure places, and provide informational sources for people with disabilities regarding accessible infrastructure and services. What we managed to do? It's not interesting. Yep. Yes. What we managed to do? At the beginning, we created Access Advisory Group. The group consists of civil society organizations of people with disabilities experts, Euro 2012 hosts, cities organizational committees representatives, and also representatives of the Ukrainian Parliament and the National Agency of Euro 2012. Our group made possible effective cooperation at local level in the 4 host cities and at national level. For example, it helped to create elements of accessibility in stadiums in all host cities, accessibility fun zones for fans with different types of disability, to manage training programs for volunteers and others. We selected about 150 volunteers in 4 host cities. Also, were conducted trainings on accessibility assessment questions. As a result, volunteers and experts evaluated accessibility more than 1,500 hotels, restaurants, cultural institutions, etc. Project experts also consulted managers and owners to improve access. Such consultations were provided during construction and reconstruction of existing facilities. Also was developed a web resource available for fans with disabilities. This resource contains information about the availability of infrastructure in the host cities and the opportunity to receive needed services and support for fans with disabilities. In order to inform the owners and managers of hotels, shops, transport, infrastructure, etc., experts developed informational publication why accessibility is so important. Tens of thousands of copies were distributed among the owners of public facilities, restaurants, cafes, transport infrastructure, hotels, etc. Was organized competitive selection of volunteers who have been trained on audio descriptive commentary, and my colleagues told about developing this today. One more important thing, a competition barrier-free facility. This competition was good motivation for owners to improve the accessibility and allows the community to pay attention to issues of equal rights and opportunities. And we think that football is one of the best tools in this way. I would like to thank the cafe, especially Joyce Cook, for this idea developing in Ukraine. Hope that our experience will be useful to other organizations who only start to work in this way. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are open to dialogue, exchange, and exchange of experience and comprehension. And sorry very much for my English, because it's second time in my life when I, like on tribune, speak English.
Very good. You did a great job. Thank you.
First time was on 2011 and first international cafe conference. But my English
by the third
not
one,
so
you'll be
good.
fantastic. Thank you very much. Again, I think the message that really comes across loud and clear, look what we can do when we're given the opportunity to do it, and look at the changes that happen. It was actually, I think, between Poland and Ukraine, there were over 3,500 businesses within a 2-kilometre radius of every host stadium. Banks, restaurants, bars, and each of them had the leaflets and made small adaptations. And if they were disabled friendly, they got a UEFA Respect Inclusion sticker so that disabled fans, family and friends, and equality, inclusive awareness fans coming to the tournament knew that's where they needed to spend their money and give their business. So that's what we can do when we put our minds to it. So very well done, and it's just so lovely to have you all here together again. And I wish I could take you back to London with me, all of you,
Okay,
but I can't. So, and it's just as well you're where you are doing what you do. So that's a bit of a silly thing to come back to London with me. But anyway, thank you very much. If I may thank them both, and then that would be lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. See you soon. Bless you. Thank you. See you soon. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thanks very much. Thank you. Having talked about the changes that the large sporting events can bring, clearly we work in the world of football, and certainly on this continent, the